It's an exciting time to be a WWE fan, as the company has finally received some competition from the likes of AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling, causing them to experiment with some new concepts and finally let go of some of the old things they were desperately clinging on to. In this video, we'll be taking a look at some former WWE champions who might never win the title again. So let's begin. John Cena. John Cena is undoubtedly a legend in the WWE. He has had more WWE championship reigns than any other wrestler in the history of the company, but with his movie career in full swing, his appearances on Raw or SmackDown have become rarer and rarer. He's currently one of the few free agents in the WWE, which means he isn't bound to either Raw or SmackDown, but this also means he's not going to be involved in any long-term storyline. Now, we've seen part-timers win the championship before, notably Brock Lesnar in 2014 and The Rock in 2013, but both of those reigns were met with a lot of fan backlash. With AEW consistently beating Raw in the target demographic, the last thing that the WWE needs right now is another part-time champion that never appears on the shows themselves. Unless Cena puts his movie career on hold, which seems really unlikely, we'll probably never see another reign with him as WWE champion again. The fact that Vince McMahon probably doesn't want Ric Flair's 16-time world championship record, which he shares with Cena, to ever be broken out of respect for Flair might also play a part in why Cena will probably never win the championship ever again. Brock Lesnar. Speaking of part-timers, there is absolutely no reason for WWE to ever give Brock Lesnar the championship again. Don't get us wrong, Brock Lesnar is one of the greatest wrestlers to ever step in the WWE ring, and to this day, he has a way of making each match simply magical. Brock has a nice and comfortable gig in the WWE right now. Show up for matches from time to time, make millions, and go back home to hunt deer in Saskatchewan. However, when it comes to the championship, there is no reason for the WWE to give him another reign. Brock Lesnar, ever since he started his part-time stint in the WWE, has had some of the most boring championship reigns in recent history. Fans simply want a champion to actually show up on the weekly show consistently, and there's no way Brock Lesnar would ever commit to that. He's simply not interested. As we've already mentioned, Raw is facing indirect competition from AEW, and they've lost the demographic rating to them on more than a few occasions. If the championship does not show on the weekly show, they're simply going to perform even worse in comparison to Dynamite. Lesnar is best used as a powerhouse for big matches or simply to put some talent over. At this stage in his career, the championship just isn't for him. The Miz. The Miz is the most recent former WWE champion on our list, having won the title earlier this year after cashing in his Money in the Bank contract against a battered Drew McIntyre, who had just successfully defended the championship after a grueling Elimination Chamber match. It was the second time The Miz had won the title, his first time being in 2010, which was also a Money in the Bank cash-in. However, this time The Miz lost the title after holding it for just a week when Bobby Lashley beat him in a lumberjack match on an episode of Raw. Now, why would the WWE not give The Miz another chance with the championship? Well, giving Miz the title after a 10-year hiatus was simply a way for Vince to thank the future legend for his time in the company. The Miz is now in his 40s and probably has a good 5 years left in the tank, but no one would actually take him seriously as a champion by then, considering he has spent most of his career in the mid-card. With this brief reign, Vince basically gave The Miz another accolade as a thank you for his loyalty to the company. He could have easily gone to AEW to become a main eventer, but he chose to stay in the WWE and be a company man. Triple H. Triple H will probably never win the WWE Championship ever again, or at least we hope he doesn't. Triple H really isn't shown on WWE weekly shows nearly as frequently as he once was, and fans are pretty content with that. The Authority era was just one giant bore, and his feuds with former members of The Shield, Batista, and Kurt Angle, as well as his most recent championship reign, weren't anything to write home about either. It isn't the early 2000s anymore, and fans simply aren't interested in Triple H taking opportunities away from up-and-coming wrestlers anymore, and Triple H knows that himself. His last reign happened simply so that he could put over Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 32, and now that that's out of the way, there isn't really a lot for Triple H to contribute to the story. Sure, in the background, Triple H is probably one of the best things that could have happened to WWE, but as an on-screen character, the less we see of him, the better. Sheamus. Sheamus has been a solid team player for the WWE for more than a decade at this point, and you can usually pair up Sheamus with any wrestler you want and get a great match. He's pretty reliable, aside from some of the occasional safety issues, but that doesn't mean he's going to be given the championship anytime soon. While Sheamus is a pretty solid upper mid-carder that has dipped his toes into the main event on more than one occasion, there aren't many opportunities for him to win the championship at this point. He is a 4-time world champion, a Royal Rumble winner, and a Money in the Bank winner. He has already had a pretty great career, but he simply could never generate the kind of excitement that fans needed from a champion. He has had a Hall of Fame career, but for now, he's going to stay in the mid-card. Unlike with The Miz, Sheamus has already had multiple world championship reigns, which means that Vince isn't simply going to give him a world championship reign as a thank you for his contribution to the company. Jinder Mahal. Imagine telling someone in 2011 that Jinder Mahal would have won the WWE Championship. They probably would have laughed at your face. Yet even 3 years after he finally won the championship, it's still hard to believe believe that the WWE put the belt on a guy like Jinder. Now, Jinder isn't the most exciting wrestler in the world. Putting the belt on him was simply another way for WWE to branch out to its massive Indian fan base, and they actually saw a lot of success in making Jinder a star in India. But during his reign, SmackDown became just about the most boring show the WWE was producing weekly. His evil foreigner shtick got real old, real fast, and fans were also put off by the long length of his reign. After losing the championship, Jinder was quickly relegated to the mid-card once again, and it seems like his brief time as a main eventer is over. There are a lot more deserving superstars that are way more popular than Jinder that simply never received a title reign at all, and we're having a hard time believing that Vince actually cares about Jinder enough to give him another reign. Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio is one of the most beloved WWE superstars in the company's history. He has had some classic matches and some even more classic moments, but as far as main eventing pay-per-views and winning world championships go, Rey is probably done. Rey Mysterio is 46 years old, and right now, he's basically just a legacy act. His knees, not to be disrespectful, look like they're just about ready to snap every time he runs, and his matches simply aren't good anymore. There's only so much you can get out of a legacy act like Mysterio, and he's doing pretty good for himself in the tag team scene to even be worried about being a main eventer right now. For now, Rey's focus is probably on getting his son Dominic over. The Mysterios have definitely been a popular tag team, and perhaps we'll see the team eventually break up, leading to a match that will probably be Rey's last. Who are we kidding? That's almost definitely going to happen. Goldberg. And finally, we have Goldberg. There isn't a lot to be said about Goldberg in his most recent WWE run. His return to the WWE has been, well, boring. He did manage to win the Universal Championship, and that wasn't very exciting either. Goldberg's career trajectory is a lot like Brock Lesnar, except for the fact that Goldberg simply isn't entertaining anymore. WWE will probably continue to use Goldberg for nostalgia's sake, but now that the initial hype around his return has died down, he's probably never going to get another shot at the title again. He's a part-time wrestler that doesn't really have much to offer anymore, and no one wants to see another part-time champion. That's a wrap for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave us a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.